I have to say, I think the local school has an excellent PTO website, and I don't think it's very appealing to look at physically, but it has all the information you need on a weekly basis, even down to the permission slips for the field trips for each class that's having them in that particular week or that particular month. And for the after-school programs, and you know, for anything that's going on, it's very well maintained and very up to date. It's done on a bi-weekly basis, and they have all the information there they need. And with clicks to everything, from after school to extended day, everything is on the one website.
The other piece that, as I'm sitting here, I was counting on Tony. The other piece is Tony. Yeah. The other piece is she sent it around to numerous people, but she drafted kind of a brand, kind of a branding of Lincoln School, and it was just more kind of general information about the school's architect and just general things. She didn't get into specifics, and the idea would be that would go on the PTO website and be a little more information there. And the other thing the piece we talked about is the idea that there would be 4 robust PTO meetings through the year, and that they would be night meetings like this, and there would then be a follow-up of a newsletter. So the committees would report at this meeting, events that are going on would be talked about, and then it would be reported.
Or a YouTube address.
And then the other extreme is the, having what we've talked about with the technology, having it on the website. And something Ron and I have talked about is the idea that the next phase would being able to have people at home be at these meetings.
Right.
So,
bigger, wider. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know, just sitting here, I got an idea, I don't know how new it is, but is there has anyone considered some kind of a greeter or a liaison to those, all those parents that show up every morning for kindergartners? A familiar face or two that is actively having conversations with parents at, 5 or 10 minutes before school. That might be a good way to actually...
So PTO representatives to be at the welcome...
You just say, I don't know.
The first day of school or every day?
I mean, the diversity
once
committee
a week, maybe every Friday, every fourth Friday when there's something, every fourth Thursday before the Friday. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just if you're trying to get faces and people together,
I think it's...
The reason why I'm here is because I've inadvertently run into 1 or 2 people and had a conversation. So, rather than a piece of paper that was up on the wall, which I also look at. So.
I think it's outreach, right? I mean, I think
it is too. I think the face-to-face live thing is, we can do all this organization, but I think that what you're saying is really true, is that you need that face-to-face contact. And, if you're asking people to help, it's much easier to get help if you ask people in person.
Well, then it goes back to getting more people involved in the PTO. You have to have bodies. You can't have the same 3, 6, 9 people doing everything all the time, otherwise we wouldn't be able to hold down a job. That's it. I mean, I think I missed the beginning of it, but I think like the co-chairs for the silent auction and for the pumpkin fest, I think it's too big a job for 2 people. I think there should be committees of about 5 or 6 people running it. And I mean, we've always traditionally only had 2 people do silent auction, 2 people, and they're running their feet for the weeks leading up to it, and 2 people do pumpkin fest, and the PTO consists of 3 of us who do all the written work, all the agendas, we have no secretary, and we just have a severe lack of volunteers. And this has been the best turned out meeting we've had all year.
This is really neat.
Better than the last 3 before it, combined.
I mean, I love the idea of the sign-up board Lynn was talking about, and just but it really, having done Art for Art's sake for 3 years in a row, and Heidi has always told me, face-to-face, go ask people, and every year it's easier. And besides, it kind of runs itself. But it's a lot of work still, but when I need something, I literally just go up, and I don't say, Joe, can you help me? I say, Joe, I need you to do this, this, or this. Which one can you do? I just need help. I can't do it all by myself. And it's amazing. People would just email, oh, I heard you need help, whatever. But I don't think anyone ever said no. But I asked them went up to them and asked them face to face. And if all of us just go up and say, you know what, I need you to do, is if you can't be physically present, can you do something at home? I actually, I've told Lisa this before, I think every parent in this school should have to volunteer an hour or two a month, unless you're on a specific committee. Even if you're stuffing envelopes, even if you're writing something, I mean, just to make you feel involved. I mean, of course, we can't force them, but expectations mean a lot. I think a lot of people will rise to the expectations we say this school needs, but we just have to ask them or tell them.
If you go onto a lot of the other schools' websites, I've been looking at them, they have their main PTO, and then they have work groups. So some of them talk about committees, some of them talk about work groups, but they really break down all the things into little work groups, so specific people are assigned to everything. So anything that is kind of a line item on the budget, there's one or two parents that are in charge of that. And I think that's an important move for the PTO to move into, is that the PTO co-chairs move into much more of a overseeing position, and that they spend their, a percentage of time with other people, face to face, getting people to commit, and that all of our things that the PTO spends money on has two people that rotate. The same thing. One rotates in, mentors the person, and they rotate out. A new person moves in. Because what I see is we get people in, but we're not pulling people up. And I think that's our greatest challenge, to figure out how to pull people up. It was wonderful at our first Friday coffee. We didn't have a big showing, but it was kindergarten parents, and that was great. Those are the people. And now we have an opportunity to go back to them, talk to them. So I think that we all need to figure out, all of us who have done anything, whatever it may be, whether we've just helped the librarian or something, we need to figure out how to pull a new person in and introduce them to that.
Yeah, and reach out to people that you may not actually know, too, faces that are unfamiliar. I think it would be nice to have.
So I think it's to encourage your parents to have, like the fourth grade, I guess that they have that many people show up though. When they started having parent meetings.
Well, that's the whole parent network.
The more parents can get to know each other, the more comfortable they feel volunteering, the easier it is to address bullying. The more the kids know that the parents are all connected, and things will be, I don't know, it really creates a different dynamic when the parents are more involved with each other, because the kids are not often this never learned.
I think we've talked about this at Diversity, because it was a diversity initiative to organize the grade level potlucks, one in the fall, one in the spring, and this year I fell off the horse. I don't know. I didn't push for it, and so it didn't really happen unless certain classes took the initiative. I think next year we're going to make sure that whether it's diversity or whether it's the PTO, as a requirement, or as a role of the room parent, that they organize these two potlucks or meetings, whatever you want to call them, but an opportunity for the whole grade to get together.
The sixth grade did a big picnic at a park last year, which was great. I mean, it's nice to have that at the beginning of the year. I think the school-wide picnic is good, but it's nice to have the grade ones to be more.
Oh, speaking of school-wide picnics, and a totally different, I'm not talking about how it's going to be different.
Oh, yeah, sure. We decided this year for the school picnic to try something different. Rather than having the cafeteria cook the burgers and cook the hot dogs and bring them out, we're going to, we have some parent volunteers who are going to bring up their gas grills, and we're actually just going to have like a barbecue. We have people grilling the food, and hopefully
They bring their own burgers and
we'll still do all of that, but rather than doing it in the cafeteria and cooking up
Because it costs money.
and this way
quality.
So you'll get grilled hamburgers and hot dogs. We're going to add salads to the mix, and
Veggie burgers would be
what is it?
They do?
Yeah.
Oh.
And diversity committee's going to do a game.
Yeah.
You guys don't know about
they'll
this.
Also,
Surprise.
they'll also be doing the pamphlet piece dedication that night. So the bench. When is the two benches? Is it the 15th?
Yeah, I gotta look.
Yeah.
Can I make
I
a
want to
pitch
say
for
the
getting
15th.
everything onto the calendar? Because I think this is when it just gets so crazy. But the calendar looks really bare. Because I've